The forecast was due to be beautiful. Sunny skies, just beautiful for Patricia Stebelton and her husband Dick. And they were headed to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. They remembered the autumn trees, the maple trees, all the colors of the fall. It was just beautiful. And every year, the couple would travel north to just take in all this beauty and just to have a bit of time to themselves. Well, on this particular day, they drove across the Mackinac Bridge, and Patricia says that she noticed as they're going over that big long bridge, she could feel the wind picking up beneath them. It was just strong and powerful, she said. But no matter, she looks up towards the Upper Peninsula. She can see all the beautiful pine trees, and those pine trees led to the Cut River Bridge. They get there. Her husband, he pulls over, parks their 81 Omni. They both get out, and they are just, again, taking in all this beauty. Their purpose for pulling out and getting out, they particularly wanted to look out over the whole entire gorge as the sunlight just kind of streamed down on it. And there was just a bit of misty fog settling over the hillsides. The two of them decide to go down the trail. So they go down this long, winding trail, and eventually at the end, it would lead to Lake Michigan. When they were hiking down, Patricia says it was difficult because it's gravel, and the gravel had been caked with quite a bit of mud due to the air moisture. So they took it slow, but they make it all the way down. They got to see the beautiful crashing waves just hitting the shoreline, and the wind had picked up quite a bit. Both of their hair was blowing every which way down there at the bottom of the trail. Patricia remembers looking up at some seagulls. She hears them calling, and she said as she's staring up, she kind of gets like a little wave of discouragement, and she didn't know why. She just felt it. And she also observed that the mist that was over the hillsides and whatnot, it usually burns off by this time, but it hadn't. It was still quite foggy, and the sky had actually now turned a solid gray. So the two decide, after they spend a little time down there, they go back up the trail. They get back to their car, they're strapping in their seatbelts, and in that moment, that 2-lane bridge, it was deserted. Now, it was partly covered by fog, but still, from what they could see, there weren't any cars going by on either side. Patricia says that as her husband he puts the key in the ignition and starts that car, that she felt a sudden chill over her body. Her husband cranes his neck because he's checking for oncoming traffic and traffic behind. He doesn't see anything. So he presses the gas to turn the car out, but the car halts abruptly, just kind of weird out of nowhere. Patricia kind of looks over at him to just kind of, what are you doing? Why aren't we going? All of a sudden next to them, there's this loud shaking vibration and a big whooshing sound. I mean, out of nowhere. After it passed, their little car was just shaking there, and it happened to have been a big rig just flying past. Both were left after that shaking, just in shock at the realization of how close they just came to death. Patricia looks at her husband to ask him what just happened. And Dick tells his wife, he says, I was set on pulling out. I had my foot on the gas. It just stopped. It was almost like something was holding us back. They also realized, too, that semi was on the wrong side of the road. They figured or imagined the reason being is probably it was trying to pass a slow car way back where they couldn't see, and so it sped up and went around. You know how you can do on country roads? They can only assume that's why it was on the wrong side of the road. But they both knew had that gas pedal worked that day, they would have hit that thing head on and they would have been pulverized. Nothing, because that thing was going so fast. Both sat in that car for several minutes, just quiet, because again, thinking of the enormity of the situation. And her husband, eventually, he's just looking down in deep thought, and he just mutters under his breath a few times, "Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus." Another presence had definitely been with those two that day. And they like to occasionally ponder back to that day because they wonder a lot. Could it have been an angel of God that was helping them and holding their vehicle back? They ended their little trip, they made it back home and back into their everyday lives. But Patricia says that they are much more aware now of their usual routines because of the incident. She says that God orders our future and numbers our days. And she also says it's up to us to live in a way that glorifies God. I hope you guys enjoyed this short little story of today. I hope it blessed you to hear it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your support. And I will see you guys for the next story.